Who walks out into the cold in December in Chicago without his coat? English, where's my goddamn son?
Imagine a quiet tailor shop on a freezing Chicago night in 1956. Snow dusts the windows. Inside, the soft hum of a sewing machine, the faint smell of wool and steam. Leonard Burling, an elderly British gentleman with steady hands and kind eyes, works alone. To the world, he's just a skilled cutter of fine suits. But tonight, blood will stain his workbench. Lies will be stitched tighter than any seam. And a man who spent years running from violence will quietly orchestrate the downfall of 2 entire crime families. What begins as a simple favor ends in fire and revelation. Because sometimes the most dangerous man in the room isn't holding a gun, he's holding scissors. Leonard Burling had come to Chicago to disappear after the war, after London, after losing everything that mattered. He chose this modest shop on a forgotten corner. He measured shoulders, pinned hems, listened more than he spoke. Customers loved him for it.
Hunched over like a midday clock.
Especially Roy Boyle, the most powerful mob boss in the city. Roy was particular about his suits and often remarked that a man is judged by his silhouette. Leonard always nodded, never asked questions. He had also installed a small brass mailbox inside the shop. Customers could leave notes, tips, or messages that were never meant for the postman. The Boyle family used it religiously. One evening, Richie Boyle, Roy's only son, cocky, impulsive, strode in with Francis, his father's trusted enforcer. They collected letters, as always. Then Richie noticed the half-finished suit on the mannequin and asked whether it was for his father.
You making that for my pops?
Not this one.
Leonard calmly replied that it was not. Richie pressed him about who the suit was for, but Leonard gave no answer. Francis pulled out an envelope marked simply, "The Outfit," a letter, and a cassette tape. Richie's eyes narrowed and he asked Leonard to step outside for a minute. Leonard obliged without argument. He waited in the front, folding a bolt of charcoal wool. Behind the curtain, voices rose and fell. When they left, Francis looked tense. Richie looked excited. Dangerous combination.
See you tomorrow.
Later that night, Mabel, Leonard's young assistant, returned to the shop with Richie. They thought Leonard had gone home. They were wrong. He sat in the dark back room, listening. Richie spoke freely about Francis, about how Roy trusted the enforcer more than his own flesh and blood, about how Francis was just some street kid his father had felt sorry for, and about the tape that supposedly contained proof of someone inside the Boyle family feeding information to the LaFontaine crew. A rat. Mabel giggled at something Richie said. Leonard's jaw tightened. He had noticed the glances, the lingering touches. He had warned her once that Richie Boyle was not someone she should play games with. She had laughed it off, explaining that she had spent her life around men like him and that staring them down and acting like one of them always made them back off. Leonard had said nothing more, but he had started watching more closely.
I don't want to wake him up.
The door crashed open hours later. Francis half carried, half dragged Richie inside. Blood poured from a stomach wound. Richie's face was gray, eyes rolling. Francis barked at Leonard to press hard on the wound. Leonard dropped the shears he'd been sharpening. He pressed both palms against the torn shirt. Warm blood immediately soaked through his fingers. Francis slammed the door, locked it, and explained that the LaFontaines had ambushed them because they wanted the tape. He shoved a briefcase onto the cutting table. He told Leonard that Roy was on his way, but if the cops showed up first, he should get rid of them. Leonard stared at the blood spreading across his clean workspace. He understood far more than Francis realized.
There are 1,000 blue boys out there hunting for this.
Richie groaned. Francis pointed out that he was losing too much blood. He ordered Leonard to sew him up. Leonard hesitated, explaining he was not a surgeon. Francis insisted that since Leonard was a cutter, he would manage. Leonard hesitated only a second. Then he reached for his strongest needle and thick black thread. No anesthetic, no time. He poured rubbing alcohol over the wound. Richie screamed, back arching off the table. Leonard pinned the skin with one hand, pierced with the other. Each stitch was slow, deliberate. Richie's screams turned to whimpers, then silence. He passed out. Leonard kept sewing. Blood dripped onto the floorboards. The metallic tang filled the small room. Francis watched like a hawk. When the last knot was tied, Leonard stepped back. His hands shook, not from fear, from memory. He had done this before, long ago, in places far worse than Chicago.
Oh, are you a doctor now, too?
I was in the war.
Francis sealed the cassette inside the briefcase. He announced he needed to find a player and told Leonard to stay with Richie. Leonard replied that he wanted them both gone. Francis told him he was already involved and welcomed him to the family. Francis left.
Everybody wants this thing.
So I throw it away.
The shop fell silent except for Richie's shallow breathing. Leonard stared at the briefcase, then at the unconscious boy who had once called him Sir with genuine respect. Richie woke in agony. Leonard brought him water and held the glass to his cracked lips. Richie drank, coughed, and thanked Leonard for not letting him bleed out. Leonard said nothing.
English, I want to thank you. You saved my life.
After a long silence, Richie spoke again. He complained that Francis was not real family, just some kid his father had saved once and now favored over him. Leonard listened, nodded, gently asked questions. Who did Richie suspect? Who had access? Who knew too much? Richie laughed weakly and asked if Leonard was trying to figure it out too. Leonard smiled faintly and replied that he was just a tailor. Then, almost casually, he said he could be the rat.
I'm the rat. I've been selling information to your enemies.
Richie laughed again and said there was no chance of that. Leonard didn't laugh. He simply continued folding a piece of fabric and quietly explained that he was not a tailor but a cutter. And there was a difference. He described how he had trained on Savile Row with years of apprenticeship, discipline, and precision. Richie listened, half delirious, and asked why he had come to Chicago. Leonard answered that after the war, London had changed. Men wanted blue jeans and trends, while he made things meant to last. Richie nodded slowly and recalled that his father had taught him how to tie a tie when he was 4.
He taught me how to tie a tie for the first time when I was 4.
Saying it was the first serious step a man takes, a ghost of pride in his voice. Then suspicion. He mentioned that Francis thought there was a rat very close. Leonard leaned forward slightly and observed that sometimes the person you trust most is the one you should fear most. He let the words hang. Richie's eyes narrowed.
He said before he was the one looking for the rat.
Francis returned soon after. Tension crackled the moment he stepped inside. Leonard whispered to Francis before he reached Richie that Richie had looked in the case and now thought Francis had taken the tape. Francis froze, then smiled thinly and called Leonard clever.
He keeps fiddling with your briefcase.
Richie immediately accused Francis of being unharmed during the ambush while he had been shot. Francis deflected by saying he had simply gotten lucky. They argued. Voices rose. Then Richie lunged for the briefcase. It was empty. The tape was gone. Richie drew his gun. Francis drew faster. A single shot. Richie's neck exploded in red. He collapsed, gurgling. Francis fired again and told him coldly that he had died because he was weak. The room stank of gunpowder and blood.
You didn't die because you're dumb, because you're arrogant.
Leonard stood perfectly still. Francis turned to him and demanded to know where the tape was.
Where did Richie put the tape?
I've no idea.
Leonard replied that he did not know. Francis searched frantically. Nothing. Then headlights swept across the windows. Roy Boyle had arrived. Francis panicked and told Leonard to help hide the body and clean the floor. They dragged Richie's body behind the heavy curtains.
Grab his goddamn arms or else I'm hiding 2 bodies.
Francis scraped blood with a rag. Leonard opened the door. Roy stepped in, calm, dangerous. He asked where his boy was. Francis spun the story that Richie had taken the tape and gone looking for him.
Where's Richie?
I thought he was with you.
Roy's eyes moved over the shop. He saw the coat, Richie's coat, hanging on the rack in December. Without it, impossible. He turned to Leonard and ordered him to tell the truth. A gun pressed against Leonard's temple.
You got 5 seconds to tell me what happened.
Francis dragged Mabel in. She had been waiting outside. Now she was leverage. Roy's voice dropped as he asked again where his son was.
If you tell me the truth, there isn't a gun in this town can hurt you.
Mabel cried out. Francis struck her. Again, Leonard stepped between them and told him to stop. Roy smiled coldly and declared that no one was leaving until he knew the truth. Leonard looked at Mabel's bruised face. Something inside him shifted. He told Roy the lie that Richie had felt ashamed because Francis had killed the LaFontaines alone. So Richie had gone to prove himself.
Richie made us promise not to tell you.
Roy bought it, for now. But he stayed. Francis was sent to search. The trap was closing. When Roy left to chase the false lead, Leonard turned to Mabel and Francis and revealed that Roy was walking into an ambush set by LaFontaine.
Directly into an ambush.
Who's ambushing him?
The LaFontaines.
Francis stared and asked who had set that up. Leonard looked straight at Mabel. He stated that she had. Mabel did not deny it. She had sold information for money, dreaming of Paris, Barcelona, freedom. When the Boyles got too close, she had gone to the FBI for protection, arranging wiretaps. Leonard had known from the beginning. He had hidden the real tape. He had recorded everything tonight, his voice.
You got your hustle, I got mine.
Their voices, enough evidence to bury both families. Francis's face drained of color. Leonard spoke softly and proposed that Mabel should call LaFontaine to trade the tape for cash, because otherwise Roy would find Richie's body and they would all die.
And option B is you run the Boyle organization.
Francis had no choice. Mabel made the call. LaFontaine arrived. Cash changed hands. Francis waited in the back, ready to kill. But Leonard had already emptied his gun. When Francis stepped out, he clicked on empty. LaFontaine's men opened fire. Francis jerked, fell, bled out on the floor Leonard had cleaned so many times. Only Leonard and Mabel remained. He told her the final truth. He had planted the fake tape. He had set every domino falling. He had manipulated Richie and Francis into killing each other. He had protected her, not out of sentiment, but out of recognition. She was what he once had been. Young, desperate, willing to burn everything for a new life. He gave her the money and told her to run. She asked him to come with her. He refused, saying he was too old to start again. She left. He stayed.
Come with me.
No.
Packed what little mattered. Then he poured kerosene, lit a match. The shop caught fast. Flames licked the suits on hangers. Memories curled into ash. But as he walked toward the door, a shot rang out. Francis, still alive, fired wildly. The bullet grazed Leonard's arm. Francis staggered up, knife in hand. Leonard rolled up his sleeve, revealing old gang tattoos, and told Francis that he had once been like him. Francis lunged. Leonard sidestepped. His shears flashed, buried deep in Francis's neck. Francis dropped. This time, he didn't get up.